Phoenix, Arizona's #1 medium is here in Fargo to give us a lesson in spirituality and connection. Melinda Vale is with us this morning. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here. We had a little chat before the show, and I know Marlon's questioning a lot of things in his life. So
Such a cutie, isn't he?
He is. We love Marlon. So one of the main things that people wonder when they meet a medium or they hear about a medium is, how do you tell the difference between if somebody is real and if they're not real?
That's a very good question, and it's so important to me because I think there are a lot of people in my business that get into the situation telling people things that they shouldn't, right? You know, and telling people like, oh, your husband's sorry for cheating on you when he's dead. Like, why would you do that? That's just hurtful, and somebody from the other side wouldn't say that anyway. So an evidential medium, which is what I am, gives exact dates and names and specifics about somebody on the other side, so that you actually walk away from a reading knowing that your person is alive, just not alive here, just alive on the other side, which, you know, there's really no such thing as death, and that's my main mission, is to teach that there's no such thing as death, that we can still have a relationship with our loved one on the other side no matter what.
And how do you perceive these messages? Do you intuitively feel them? Do you hear them? Do you see them? What is your method?
So I'm something called clairsentient, which is the hardest thing for people to understand, which means that I just have a knowledge, okay? But I do hear things and I do see things, but that's sporadic. It's more like something comes over me, and I get messages that just kind of come over me. I don't know how else to explain clairsentience. It's a very hard thing to explain, but it's a little bit of everything, okay? So, you know, when I look at you, for example, I saw that maybe you had Daddy on the other side of the veil, you know?
Yep.
And there's something about music around him. Do you know what that
Yes.
means? Okay. And I don't know, he's kind of playing on an accordion. Roll out the barrel like, did he play an accordion?
Not necessarily, but I do have a tie to that.
Okay, you have a tie to the accordion.
Yeah, somebody does. Yeah.
Now that's so interesting to me that you would have a tie to the accordion of all things, okay? And then there's somebody around you named Jim or James or Frank or Francis or both, and do you know what those mean?
That's a good question. Well, James is a family name, so there are
Okay,
probably
so
a
they're
number of
through
people.
the family. Okay, very good. Okay, and I think there's something about what a cutie your husband is. I think he has an unusual name. Just a minute, let me see if I can grab that. I think it's a Logan.
My husband? No.
Okay, what's your husband's name?
Well, Joseph.
Okay, well, who's the Landon or the Logan or something with an L?
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that.
Okay, you think about
Yeah.
that, because is it something around him that begins with an L, Joseph?
I'm trying to think of his siblings, not his immediate siblings.
Okay, so you'll figure that out,
Yeah.
okay? There's also changes here at this station.
I hope they're good changes.
They're good changes, I think, okay? And did you know that your father is extremely proud of you?
Well, I hope so,
Okay.
Dad. I'm
All right,
working hard
so
here.
there's something, again, he keeps showing me music, music, because music's so important to him. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Did he play music or just love music?
A little bit of both. It's one of the things that connected he and I together.
Music, okay, because somebody plays music.
Yep.
Who's the accordion player? Because it's cracking me up.
I guess I don't know who specifically plays it, but that style of music is very common where my grandpa's from.
Ah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, all right, very
Yes.
good. That's why I'm getting that then, okay. And I know everybody here in North Dakota has a lake story. But there's a lake story. There's something
always,
with,
yes.
but you know, but there's something with lakes or something around your dad, and I think he.
That's
I
huge,
think
actually.
he, the outdoors or woods or being outside, that was his church more or less. Like
Yes.
he loved that. That's where he got his spiritual connection, if that makes sense to you.
That is
And-
100%.
Yeah, and he's talking something about his feet. He's laughing about something with his feet. Did you guys make a joke about his feet, or did you do
Oh,
something with his
definitely
shoes, or did his feet bother him, or what is he saying about his feet?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to think
All right,
about it.
do you have a ton of shoes?
I do. I have a lot of shoes.
Are you preoccupied with shoes?
It's possible. I love shoes.
You know, you're very gracious, by the way,
thank you.
because you're trying to save my butt a little bit on a couple of things, but I know that when I get things, they make sense later. A lot of times when people are like put on the spot, and then you'll think, oh, that's what that is. Okay,
Right. Sometimes you have to think about it and let it settle a little bit.
That's right. There's something about a dog. Do you have a dog?
I do.
Okay, I think your dog might see your dad when he's come visiting your house. If your dog kind of cocks his head and kind of looks around, that's when they see spirit from the other side. You know how dogs can hear a whistle that we don't hear?
Yeah.
Well, they see things that we can't see too.
You know what's interesting is we had a pet psychic on the show a few months back and kind of said the same thing.
Yeah, they're very, well, dog spelled backwards is God, right?
Yay for dogs.
So, that's they teach us unconditional love. I don't know if you have a Michael working here. Do you have a Michael working here? There's something with a Mike or a Michael. Or is that around you? Is there a Mike or a Michael?
We did, and we might. I'm going to have to look into it.
Okay.
We have a lot of people here. Valley News Live is a very big place, so I'm going to look into that
well,
one.
There's something he knows. He says he knows who the Michael is. He's shaking his head yes over there. Okay, I'll find out after.
Sure. That's awesome.
So when people go to a medium, if they don't give the gist of someone's personality from the other side, then they don't have them.
Sure.
Your dad was a shake your hand, do what he shook your hand to do kind of a guy.
Very much.
He was straight up, 100% integrous. He raised his children that way. He raised you all to have a strong work ethic. Okay. And I think he had some of his own difficulty in his upbringing. Okay, so he wanted to shift that and make sure that he brought you kids up in a different way. And I think that's pretty true, that all you kids have turned out really, really awesome.
Yes, I will say everything that you just said is correct. And he did struggle early in life and figured that out, and then was an amazing father. And
yeah,
nailed it.
I think that's one of the reasons, because you've always had this strong work ethic and stayed very focused for yourself, even from the time of college and all the way up through. And that's one of the reasons that he's so proud of you, honey, is because of that.
Aww,
okay?
Thank you.
He's saying something about the moon, and I don't know whether that is just something that you guys used to talk about, or whether you
I'll think about that one. It's possible.
Moonlighting or moon something, I don't know. Moon
Sure.
something, okay? All right. So, and did Joseph have a problem with his foot or his knee? Or
Yes.
Okay, all right. And so, he's a cutie, right?
He is.
Good, good. So you should be able to verify everything a medium says to you, even if it's after the fact.
Nice.
Like one time I was talking to a woman whose husband died of COVID, and we are now up to a large number of COVID deaths, 1 million. And he kept saying to her, donkey, donkey. And she was in Texas, because I do readings all over the country on Zoom. And she had no idea what he was talking about. She called her son, and her son had just put a poster of a donkey in his garage, and he was working on his car over the weekend. So that was his dad's way of saying, I'm with you.
How wonderful. And so you have this incredible gift, which you'll be sharing with people here in North Dakota, because you have an event in Grand Forks.
Yes, I love people here in North Dakota, the nicest people ever.
Yes.
Somehow I came up one season, and then it just blossomed from there. I'm going to be at UND Friday night from 6 to 8. It's a large room, and even though we do have a bit of a crowd, there are still tickets left. And one thing about it is, if you don't get a reading, because it's a 2-hour-long event, at least you walk away seeing other people getting readings and knowing that there's no such thing as death.
Wow, just incredible. Thank you again, Melinda, for joining us.
You know, it's my pleasure.
I think I could sit with you all day and chat about this. All right, make sure that you stay with us. We're delving into summer fashion with Shales Home and Hardware Fusion Boutique coming up next.